Hello students, good morning. Today in this video lecture we are going to discuss about part of cell. Students, a typical eukaryotic cell has mainly three parts. What are they? The first one is the cell membrane or plasma membrane, unit membrane, cytoplasmic membrane, plasma lemma. There are the various names of this protective covering in animal cell and the innermost layer in plant cell. Students, in plant cell wall is present as outermost protective cover. So, we also study about the cell wall separately, but here the plasma membrane or cell membrane, because present in both as cytoplasmic membrane or inner membrane in the plant cell, innermost layer in the plant cell, and it is the outermost and single protective layer in animal cells. So this is the first part, and now the second part is the nucleus, which is bounded by two unit membranous structure in eukaryotic cell called nuclear membrane, and the next and most important part of the cell, that is the protoplasm. Students, protoplasm is known as elixir of life because the whole essence of the life exists in this type of fluid-like substance that is called protoplasm. Protoplasm is mainly consists of nucleoplasm plus cytoplasm. Is that clear? It means the cytoplasm and nucleoplasm both together forms a structure that is called protoplasm. More about protoplasm we will go for detailed study when, how and by whom time to time protoplasm was discovered. As per your knowledge, I will told you it was first discovered by Dujardin and called the protoplasm as sarcode. After that, Julian Huxley, Hugo van Moel, many of the biologists contribute. N.S. Cohen contribute the chemical composition, nature of the protoplasm time to time. As this is called elixir of life because whole the essence of life exists in this fluid substance, and this is the matter of you can say that this is the matter of research because till to date no solid evidence obtained by any scientist how the life exists in this fluid that is called protoplasm, because it is very complex in nature. Now students, going to discuss about the first topic, plasma membrane or cell membrane. So what is plasma membrane or cell membrane? It is the outermost protective layer of the cell in which whole of the cellular bodies, it means cell organelles, are bounded by this membrane. The cytoplasm, the cell organelles like mitochondria, endoplasmic reticulum, Golgi body, ribosome, chloroplast are plastids in plant cell, lysosome, vacuoles, spherosomes. All these cell organelles are well bounded by this outermost protective covering layer. As the time spent, many biologists suggested the structure of cell membrane or plasma membrane. Some of the most accepted structure of the cell membrane or plasma membrane are given by the biologists. These are as follows. The first one is the Robertson model of unit membrane, and the next one is the Singer and Nicholson model of unit membrane. This model of unit membrane is also called fluid mosaic model. What? Fluid mosaic model. And the model that was represented by or given by Robertson, this is also called protein lipid protein model. Let's go to know why this is called protein lipid protein model, and this is called the fluid mosaic model. So first we start with the Robertson model of unit membrane. According to Robertson, a unit membrane consists of following 4 layers. The outermost and the innermost layers are made up of proteins. This is the outermost surface and this is the innermost surface. These surfaces are hydrophobic in nature. It means the proteins are hydrophobic in nature. They are not water loving. It means they doesn't dissolve in the water like solvent. So they are hydrophobic in nature. And in middle of the both protein layer, there is 2 layers of lipid. There is 2 layers of lipid are present. That's why this is also called bilipid layer. What? Bilipid layer. And this lipid layer are hydrophilic in nature. It means the water loving. They can easily dissolve in water, as suggested by Robertson. And whole of the membrane is of about 75 angstrom thick, in which the outermost and innermost protein layers are 20 angstrom thick, 20 and 20 angstrom thick, and the two lipid layer or bilipid layer that lie in between the both protein layer, each about 17.5 angstrom thick. Thus collectively they forms 35 angstrom thick layer. That means the bilipid layer is of about 35 angstrom thick. Thus the total thickness of the unit membrane become 70 angstrom. How much? 75 angstrom. The 20, 20 and 35, 75 angstrom. Is that clear? Due to presence of protein, lipid and protein in stratified way, it means layer after layer. The Robertson model of unit membrane is also known as protein lipid protein model. Is that clear? Now, the widely accepted model of unit membrane is Singer and Nicolson model of unit membrane. And this is also called the fluid mosaic model. As you observe here, the model is just look like mosaic on the floor. Mosaic on the floor, as the mosaic are embedded on the floor. Here, the term mosaic means marbles. Understood? As the marbles are used for flooring, and in between their joints, the cementing substance are used to heal up the gap between one marble to another. Like that, this model of the Singer-Nicolson is similar to the mosaic of the floor. That's why called fluid mosaic model. Then what is the difference characteristics in compared to the Robertson model? The fluid mosaic model or Singer-Nicolson model of unit membrane, as suggested by Singer and Nicolson, it is also of about 75 angstrom thick. There is no differences about the thickness of the membrane, but the modification is made by the Singer and Nicolson is that the whole of the proteins present in unit membranes all are not hydrophobic in nature. Some are also hydrophilic. And the protein molecules are scattered in the lipid layer such a way that just it gives the appearance of a mosaic on the floor. As you visualize in this diagram, this is the intrinsic protein. These are the channel proteins. These are the extrinsic proteins or integral proteins that lies on the peripheral surface. The proteins lies in between the lipid layer. These are the channel proteins. So these are the proteins which are just dipped into the lipid layer, and the proteins which are extrinsic, they are hydrophobic in nature, but the intrinsic type of proteins are hydrophilic in nature. These are the bilipid layers as suggested by the Robertson, and the lipid layer or bilipid layer that are lies at the peripheral surface are hydrophobic in nature. It means they does not dissolve in water, and the presence of the channel protein helps in transportation of substances across the unit membrane. And students, the unit membranes are semi-permeable in nature. What is semi-permeable or semi-permeability? It is the matter to understand you. This is a phenomena. This provides an ability to membrane. This provides a unique ability to any membrane to decide what kind of substances can passes through across the membrane or can passes across the membrane. It means they have unique ability to identify the kind of substances which are present inside the internal environment, and they only allow the kind of substances to enter inside the internal environment which are identified or which are already present inside the cell. They never allow any kind of foreign substances to enter inside the or enter across the membrane. This is the simple quality of the semi-permeable membrane, and the semi-permeability is due to the specific type of channel proteins. The channel proteins are also of different types. It depends upon the substrate and the kind of amino acids which can recognize the types of substances. So here you have to only know that the channel proteins is just act like a tunnels that allow the transport of substances between one or more cells across the membrane. Is that clear? This is that's why the Singer and Nicholson model is called the fluid mosaic model. And I hope students, you all of you clearly understand about both of the model and what is the difference between these models. In next video lecture, we are going to discuss about the outermost protective layer of the cell. It means plant cell, that is the cell. Very good. And before ending the cell membrane, we are also just going to discuss about the function of cell membrane. Function of cell membrane. Then students, it serves following functions. First one is the protection. This is the outermost protective layer of the cell. Next one is Due to semi-permeability, it helps in transportation of substances. It means exchange of substances across the membrane. Next one is that it has ability to recognize recognition the kind of substances that are most found inside the cell, and the most unique function of the cell membrane, it has ability to heal and repair itself. Yes, students, it has ability of healing or heal, you can say that, and repair the wounds or injuries. The wounds are injuries that take place due to any mechanical cause. Once again, going to discuss about the function of cell membrane. Cell membrane serves as the outermost protective cover. That's why it serves the function of protection. It helps in exchange of substances across the membrane due to semi-permeable in nature. That's why it serves the function of transportation. It has ability to recognize the kind of substances that are most present inside the cell. That's why the ability of recognition. And if any kind of wound or injuries take place inside the cell, then has unique ability to heal and repair the wounds or injuries. These are the some important functions of the cell membrane, and we will meet in next video lecture. Thanks students for joining today's lecture.